Good morning, church. Morning, everyone. Well, this is the second half of today. We'll be in English. We're switching to a multilingual service today to accommodate all the nations. Ethan will go next in German, and then Isaac in French, and we'll get everyone included. Well, first of all, I'm thankful to be here, and I'm happy. Not happy. That's a low-level word. I'm joyful that I get to share something that is in my heart, that the Lord placed in my heart, and that's something that I guess is one of the main things that is just part of me or part of what I think or part of what I believe. And I'll explain why I'm saying part of me or part of what I believe, and I'll explain that because it has to do with what I'm talking about. But it's something that I guess is actually something that's been taught in this church, but not just taught, I guess modeled in this church is a better way of saying it. As in, when you're called to, hey, can you share something? There should always be something within you that you want to share. So when Pastor asked us, which thank you, Pastor, again, for letting me share, like Arturo mentioned, it's our second time. I guess we're going to become like the new duo, the new team, the dream team. When there's an issue, they'll send Arturo and I. That's how you know it's the big guns. When Arturo's included. But when he asked me to share, I thought, oh, okay, well, my first thought was, once again, let me share more classroom ideals, I guess. But then, for some reason, I just couldn't get my head around, like, what should I share? What should I talk about? Because something instantly, as soon as he asked, I saw a text, hey, would you like to share? I didn't even reply. I was middle of class when I saw his text. I just kind of saw it, okay, and kept teaching. But in that exact moment that I got the text, I already knew what I wanted to share. Like, it was just something that just like came out of me, like, oh, share this. And so I'm saying all this because it all relates to the idea of, right, something that I believe or that I want to share or that I think I feel should be expressed from me. And it's the idea of, if you want to give it a title, or I know Arturo asked me for a title this morning, the title we could give it is not so much the phrase, who am I, but rather, why am I? Because that is going back into my classroom background. I've been a teacher. This is finishing up this Thursday, I complete my 12th year. So like I mentioned last time, I can say and continue saying, I've been teaching for over a decade. And just saying that impresses people that are under a decade. They're like, wow, over a decade? That sounds like 40 years. For those who don't know math. A decade, that's like 40 years from now. Yeah, sure. And so I mentioned this because of when I started teaching, that was one of the things that I guess in the teacher realm, you call it like finding your teacher voice. And that's what I asked myself, well, who am I as a teacher? And obviously everyone that I saw around me, people that have been teaching for 10 years, 20 years, I knew somebody who Robin knows now, and the boys Ethan will get to know Mr. Mireles, my new principal. He and I started at the same time at the campus I'm at. And watching him, watching others, that was my big question. Well, who am I? Who am I as a teacher? Who am I as an educator? Who am I? Who am I? But then fast forward over a decade, 12 years forward, I don't ask myself anymore, who am I, but I ask myself now, why am I? And that's what I want to explain to today using the Bible as reference, but also to explain how this ties into our behavior, our behavior and our understanding as believers, but also what we carry with us in that question of why am I? Not so much the who am I. So a little background there was right in the beginning, I saw educators like, oh wow, that guy has really good, the kids listen to him. And I see him standing on top of the tables yelling at students. So you know what, I'm gonna do that too. So one day some class was rowdy, so I walked in and I thought, well, who am I? I don't know. Let me try what he did. And I got on top of a table and started yelling at everyone, and they all sat down scared. And I got down to the table, and then I left the room, and I thought, that didn't, like, it worked, but I didn't really like it. And through the years, that was a lot of the who I am portion. I was basing that on the influence, right? What others were doing, I thought, well, let me try that. Fast forward to the why am I. Now, when I run my classroom and people ask me, principals ask me, we notice you never raise your voice. The way I'm talking right now to you all is how I talk in my classroom all year long. Talk to students, talk to adults, talk to parents, I have like the same tone of voice. Students even complain that I show no emotion, or that I don't really ever like falter up and down. I never get happy, I never get sad, I never get bothered. I never get excited, and just I'll tell them like, guys, I'm really happy right now. I'm really proud of you all. And then the next day, boys and girls, I'm really upset at you right now. I'm really mad right now. And then the next day, I'm so sad that your puppy died. I'm heartbroken. And the next day, I'm really proud of you because you got 100 on this test that no one else could get. But that is because I've already solidified, at least again, this is all teacher realm first. I've already solidified and let go of some of the influence and solidified my principles and my beliefs, which I spoke about last time when it comes to the classroom. And because of that, why am I the way I am? Well, because I have those things in mind. I'm not saying I don't get happy, I don't get sad. It's just that's more like the outward expression of my emotions. But on the inner part, I've began to understand, like, why am I like this? Why did I not like being that way? Why did I not like the years where they used to call me the enforcer? Because everyone knew, like, if a kid or a classroom acts up, call Gamas. And they would tell them, if you guys don't stop, well, I'm going to get Gamas. And I would just walk in the room and the kids were like, no, please, don't call him, don't call him. And like my shadow kids were like, run away, he's coming. And even though I didn't understand it, I was just, one of the biggest compliments someone gave me once, which I took as the biggest insult, was, oh man, Brian, your homeroom, which is like your class, the breakfast class, your homeroom, man, they're scared of you. They see you and they get scared. And yeah, in the who am I phase of my life, oh, that means I'm powerful, I'm strong, they're scared of me. But in the why am I phase now that I'm in, like, why would that be a good thing to have children who are supposed to learn from me and are going to spend 8 hours with me? Why would I teach them in fear? Why would I educate them and mold them through fear of, like, if we act up, we're going to get 40 lashings, or if we don't do this, it's going to kick us in the stomach, which is one of my teacher jokes I say now. Before they thought I was serious, now the kids know that I'm joking. When I say, if you do that, Becky, if you keep chewing on your pencil, I'm going to kick you in the stomach. You better cut that out. And they put it down and they stop. Before I would say that. I had a parent complain once. I made a joke in class about some students misbehaving, or I was going over my PowerPoint of like what I expect in the classroom, and I read there. And for those of you, if you ask to go to the restroom without raising your hand, I'm gonna. And I went like that, and I kept talking. Within 6 hours from that moment, parent phone call. My daughter does not want to go back to school. She is scared that you're gonna strangle her if she has to go to the restroom. She's crying right now. She doesn't want to go back to school. She thinks you're really serious about, because the way I said it, like, I was very like. And her and her brother and her friends were like, this guy's serious. Like, he looked really mad when he said that. Again, for me, I was just, but for them, it was like, what? This guy's like. So, classroom example, right? So now going into why I'm bringing this up, right? The why am I question. I wrote down here the 3 components that make up the why am I. The influence, principles, and your beliefs. And somewhere in there, we create our personality, which is what others see. And somewhere in there, we also develop, without noticing, our character, which is what no one sees, what's inside of us. And that character and that personality, well, that explains why you are the way you are. But the thing is that it's not set in stone either. So, right, I was looking in the Bible, and I noticed there was a portion of Isaiah. I'm going to go through some verses real fast. I'm not going to ask you to look for them. The ones that I want you to look for, I'll let you know. But I'm going to paraphrase or quote parts of verses right now just to kind of make my point a little clearer. In Isaiah 43:7, the last line of the verse says, whom I formed and made. Not who I let decide what they want to be. But rather, we were formed, we were made. And if we're created, that means, right, and we were made, that should help us understand that if you make something, that means there must have been some sort of design. And the design has to have a function. If someone made this marker, they wouldn't say, I made a marker to do what? Whatever it wants to do. I'm just going to leave it there and see what it wants to do. No, it has a design, it has a function. It's meant to write. The erase is meant to erase. So we're made with a function. We're made with a design. But if we're created for something, if we're hardwired for something, then why is it that we're not all wonderful, beautiful angels, so holy that our feet don't touch the ground, we just levitate everywhere because we're just pure holiness. Why is it that our feet are on the ground and we take steps, whether in blessings or in turmoil or in joy or in sadness? Why is it that we're still the way we are? So another verse I want you to go to. This one I don't want you to look up. These next three I don't want you to look up. First one is Proverbs 22:6. Proverbs 22:6. And so as you look it up, I'll make my next, I call them classroom connections. Since though we don't have many youth, we still have 3 youths. Yes, Isaac, you're still youth. That are still living in the classroom right now, and their life is the classroom. They spend their days in the classroom. So I like to connect this to the classroom so that, number one, those who are living their student lives understand that, hey, I'm a student, but there's more to it than just going to school and going home to watch TV. And parents, obviously, you have the children, same thing. You can understand a teacher's point of view because you leave your children with these teachers all day and you're trusting that they're good people doing good things with your kids, right? The last thing you want to find out is your kid goes to school and comes back and got kicked in the stomach by me, right? Or choked for the restroom, because apparently that's a... So Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. That right there is an idea of a principle. That's a principle. It's not a belief. It's not saying believe it. No, it's saying just do this. Train up your child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. That's a principle. But that principle can either affect our character or affect our personality, or both. So I had to put in the middle. Next verse. Deuteronomy 6, verses 6 and 7. Deuteronomy 6, verses 6 and 7. These commandments, once again, these are more principles. These commandments that I give to you today are to be in your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Another principle. These commandments that I give to you today, and you can read the verses prior and the chapters prior to know what commandments exactly it's referring to, but I'm talking about the idea general of biblical principles. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Third verse, Psalm 127, 3. Psalm 127, 3. Children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from Him. Children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from Him. So in my classroom, I like to challenge my students to show what they are and who they are. And I make a big deal in my classroom. I tell people, 180 school days, if you count up the minutes, I probably spend 100 days preaching to them about being good, better people, and 80 days teaching. And with that, we get high scores and break records, because that's really what I'm after. I challenge them to show who they are and what they are. How do you challenge them? Well, literally, I'm not even joking, in the work we do. Hey, we do a lesson, and while we're doing the lesson, I give them certain things they need to follow. And as long as they do that, we get to the lesson, we high five, and that's it. Right? Sounds simple. When they walk in every day, I shake their hand. When they walk out, I shake their hand again. I say, good morning, good morning, good morning. I walk out, have a great day, have a great day, have a great day, have a great day. 266 times a day, every day. Let's do some math real quick. I like it right now and just calculating. That means I've already said good morning and have a great day 47,880 times this year alone. Times 12 years, half a million times that I've said that phrase. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Have a great day, have a great day. And like you see the kids line up and I'm there. Have a great day, have a great day, have a great day, have a great day, have a great day. And as soon as they walk out, next one walks in. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. And everyone gets a handshake and some of them, but why do I bring this up? Because you read our 3 verses. Right now, our reference back to them. If not, you wrote them down. If not, you can also go back to them. I mentioned 3 principles, or 2 principles, and then 3 principles, sorry, in those 3 verses. So in the day-to-day things that we do in that classroom, I'm challenging them. They don't know it. They're just going to school. But I'm challenging them. I want to know who they are, and I want to know what they are. Because I'm trying to answer for myself and for them, why am I, but in the student sense. And the choices they make in those little moments show me, in that moment, like what they are for that specific moment. In the handshake, the kid who sees me and goes in the classroom, or the kids who walk with their friends, like, jumping, messing around, they see me and they just kind of, with their friends, and just kind of blow me off. Or the one who puts their hand very shy and does the spaghetti fingers and walks in. The little girl who's really quiet and just walks in. The boy who is walking, I'm like, hey, you're coming in here. Me? Yes, you. Oh. Even though they go in a circle, like class to class, so I don't know how they get lost. And in those little moments, I'm just watching. I'm recording and I'm identifying. And I'm using that, not because I'm just trying to get information to be mean to them, but I'm trying to help myself understand why they are that way. And I'm trying to understand that not because I'm trying to play mind games on them, but I want to understand just how much of this is affecting them and how much of this I can then impart to them. Because, like you saw those 3 verses, I'm basing what I'm doing in the classroom off of those 3 biblical principles. And so as they're doing the work and they're following along, the next instruction I give them was always, like, they come in right the first 5 minutes, they do their work, and then when I'm talking and teaching, they're supposed to be copying down what I'm doing at the same time, and then we do the work and this and that. But if we go deeper in there, I'm trying to have them show me what they know to be, what they know to do, and what they know to choose. Because ultimately, and this is the part where, if you're a student, this is your, you see, it's not my fault. Okay. But if you're a parent, this is the part that hurts. This is the part that Chelsea and I are really working on right now, because we know there's at some point going to come back to us. In Robin's case, I guess you have like all the before, the during, and the in the middle of it, like you have all the ages already. And Ethan's perfect, so we don't. I'm trying to go deeper and see what they've been shown at home, and what they've been taught at home, and what they've been allowed to be at home. In their choices, they are showing me why they are, not who they are, because that's more personality, and that can be influenced and changed by pretty easily, right? Friends, friends is the main thing really in school. But the character is what I'm after, and that comes from the beliefs and the principles. We have what's called the Hope Squad. I don't know if your school has it, the Hope Squad. And some of those kids are like some of our worst kids. They're skipping classes, say the most bad words, but they're in the Hope Squad, writing verses on the walls in school. I'm like, that's interesting. But then some of our non-Hope Squad members are like the kindest, most polite. Like, they'll help you. If you drop something, I'll get it. And it's that imbalance of that's what I'm trying to see. Because these children, these students, again, I'm taking it from the student point of view, not so much my children point of view. These students, if they're a gift, if the principal says that they're a gift from the Lord, well, number one, if someone gives you a gift, you don't just like throw it like, oh, thanks, and throw it in the back, right? You keep it, you cherish it. I have this little box in my classrooms where students help me put stuff away or take stuff out. They ask, what are those boxes of? Like, those are all my keepsakes. Of what? All the quinceañeras we go to. No, so really? Yeah, open it. And they'll open it and they're like, these are from like 8, 9, 10 years ago. That's my tia. Yeah, yeah, I was there. But you showed up? Yeah, I was invited. I showed up. Like, why wouldn't I keep the memory? Why wouldn't I keep those things? And for them, it's like you care enough about them to keep it, even though they already graduated. Like, they forgot me, but I didn't forget them. And that always, that face of like, and the next day they bring me stuff. Here, can you keep this for me for the next 10 years, yeah, I'll keep it in my little box. I have 2 boxes now. It used to be 1, now it's 2. But I do that because why are they so shocked that someone is keeping something from them? Like, don't the parents keep their drawings at home, and don't the parents, look at them and say, look, I kept your drawing from when you were 2 years old? So it makes me question, why are they so surprised that someone's appreciating like their memories? And so in this, again, I'm just taking you through my thought process of why am I like this, or why are they like that? One more verse I want to get to, which is like the main one I want to get to. Luke 6:38. Luke 6:38. I'm going to do something new to me. I'm assuming Pastor is probably something he's good at. Kevin, I'm sure, will also tell me like, oh yeah, that's normal. But when I read this verse, right, it reads a certain way, but I took it like, I had a whole entire, think of like movie, opening credits, saw the movie, the climax, the plot, and then the conclusion, the after credit scene, all that stuff. Like, I saw it on my head. Nothing to do necessarily with how the verse is written, but I'll explain to you what I mean by that in a little bit. Luke 6:38. I'll read it real quick. Give, and it'll be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. And when I first read that originally, I want to say that I heard that verse. The first time I heard it was like a tithe and offering verse. Like, oh, you give it. But I don't know why. Like, it randomly popped up, I think on my phone, or I was, those Lord speak to me, open the Bible and see where it lands kind of thing. And I don't know why that verse, like, I saw it and I'm like, that's what started this whole why am I thing. Nothing to do with children and teaching, but for some reason, like the image that I saw in my head was just, give and it will be given to you. Okay. So the teacher gives to the students, right? Education, yes, but more than anything, the teacher gives to the students that influence. Influence of where you're at as you get older, like this is where you could be, good or bad. The teacher gives those principles. Follow these things. Yes, they can be school-related or they can be character-based. Right? Do these things. Okay, the handshake, the eye contact, the when I'm doing something, you're doing it with me. The, oh, my hand hurts, I'm not going to do the work anymore. And I'll tell the students, yeah, but I do this 5 times a day. You can't just do it one time. Like, that's too much work for you. I always can't do it here. Well, let me see. The camera probably won't show, but I always show students, like, that's my handwriting muscle. See, it's kind of small. But then this hand is like a big old lump from all the, because I handwrite all my notes every year, 5 times a day for 12 years. You can do the math. I won't do it, but that's how many times I've written down the same lessons over and over and over and over. But that's still just a principle of following. And the teacher, right, shares or imparts or gives beliefs. That's a little bit harder to do with the Christian background in public school or charter school, public school, because of all the rules and the stuff they put us that we can't share and do. But I am grateful that at least my campus, or maybe IDEA, but my campus for sure, I guess in that area, we have teachers who are more open to sharing, including myself, and there's not as much pushback as there was before. So that's good. I know my grade team, we're 4 teachers actually. Actually, no, we're 6 teachers. 5 of us all go to church. We all share with the students our beliefs, but I know 3 of us share them more than others. My students will go to us and ask us questions, and then we'll share with them. And yeah, they always like, but why? But why? How come you don't like this? How come you don't agree with that? And that's when I get to share, right, some of those beliefs in my intent to, right, mold their character versus their personality. So all these things I try to give. But then the second half of that sentence says, and it will be given to you. So that's the opening credits of the movie, right? Give. Okay, teacher's giving, and I saw a picture of this guy like giving his all and teaching. The students are crying like, what a beautiful math lesson. I understand multiplication now. It all makes sense. My life has changed. But the second sentence says, a good measure. And this is the part where I'm telling you, like the movie just, the main plot completely changed. I saw God, right, making something, back to the Isaiah, right? He's forming, he's making something. So I'm here giving, and then God is in the middle, and he's making, I'm whether giving to, you're just watching as I'm trying to give the students, better beliefs, godly principles, good influence to the best of my ability, and he's making something. And he, right, this part sounds a little silly, but he has like a big old pot that says good measure and gets, or it's a big old pot that says good. Like, oh, that pot is all my good stuff. Just gets that's a good amount of good. And keeps making something. And in that, he presses it down, shakes it together, and then runs it over and puts it on my lap. And that something is the child, the student. That little kid, that mocoso, just kidding. That little kid, that little boy, that little girl, as whatever they've been influenced to be, was still made. As bad as they might misbehave sometimes, somebody still formed and made them with good, with intent of good. And God, he pressed it down and right, all that goodness into a little tiny body, or embryo, if you want to think of like the baby being, right? Pressed it down, shook it together, and then gave it. He put it on my lap as a teacher. And then the last part of that verse, for with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Meaning how I then raise that child. And I say raise not because I'm the kid's parent, but I mean, I'm sure parents know, right? If you do the math, I use that phrase a lot. If you do the math, they spend, at least once they begin the school age portion of their lives, right, K through 12, they spend their day, most of their days, most of the time in the year, with teachers. Like, technically now, you're with them from when they're born up to a certain age, and once they begin school, who's going to raise your children? Most of the time is going to be the teachers. You still have them afterwards to continue establishing those principles and continue pushing the beliefs and influence them as much as you can, but the majority of the influence will be from their teachers now. And so that measure that God placed that child, those students on my lap to give, to do something with them, and for with the measure you use, meaning how I raise them, how I teach them, how I instruct them, even for the hour that I have them per day, it will be measured to you. Meaning, that's how they'll act accordingly. That's why I mentioned earlier about the handshakes, about the doing the work, about the following along. In the beginning of the year, most of them blow me off. By the end of the year, if I don't shake their hands, they get upset. Sir, they're like, come on, let's go, we're running late. And they'll stop. Where's my handshake? Have a good day, have a good day. And now I'm the one have a good day, have a good day. And they're eager. Some students will even tell me mid-class, sir, I had a bad day today. What happened? This morning you passed by me, you didn't shake my hand. My whole day is ruined. And I'm thinking what? I just gave a handshake, and these kids are measuring me by that. He's the guy that gives handshakes. He's the guy that tells how a good day. He's the guy that, while the rest are showing movies, we're doing work. We're discussing the work. And my lessons are 5 minutes long, and the other 45 minutes are about how learning to, for example, I'll give you a mini lesson, learning to just do the work, even though you don't want to, is a principle. Because I tell them, when you get older and I have to go take my shirt at work, it's part of my uniform, I'm not gonna tuck it in. I'm like, that's a bad example. You're not following a rule set by your employer, but it's not so much the rule, it's the idea of that's the principle that I'm assuming you should have been shown or taught or modeled. The idea of if there's certain things you have to follow, you follow them, right? Certain principles. And if they can't do that, either I did a bad job or, like I mentioned earlier, right, they were taught to not do those things. And so I'm kind of right now hitting many points all over the place. Classroom, home, teaching, parenting. Not that I'm a master parent or a master teacher, but just, again, this is all things that when I read this verse, this whole entire movie and I couldn't, how does Kevin do it? They see all these things and they give you a super organized, everything makes sense, everything. And at the end, Kevin comes back to it and then does it again. And then goes around, but comes back to it again, and here I'm just okay, so which point is first? So again, I'm sharing it all right now, and then I'll put it together at the end. Think of it as I'm just tossing. Wait, and seeing who I can catch towards it. So back to this good measure. I don't know if I heard it or if someone told me, or if Pastor preached it, or if Robin preached it, or if I saw a video, but there was something that I heard once about, discussing the idea of like, why do we get to choose? Why do we have free will? Why does our personality, why does our personality and our character matter so much if we're created by God to be godly beings? And why aren't we just, everyone's just so perfect? And so I heard this person speaking. I can't remember the name. Sorry. He was saying, well, think about it. If God created us and then forces us to be good and to love Him, where's the beauty in that? Like if I make a marker and you just write words, well, okay. But if you just like draw a line, that's great. But you start to write and make words or make drawings, well, now you're taking something that was created for just to write and doing so much more with it. So this person was explaining that if God created us, and then as He's creating us, instead of putting that good and pressing, just made us in His image, and then here you go be gods on earth. And all of us are just gods on earth, right, and levitating and floating because we're so perfect. How would that be something beautiful? I mean, I would assume if you've gone outside and look at the sky, some of the most beautiful skies are not like perfectly all blue, but the clouds and the colors and all that imperfection, the plants, all that imperfection has a sense of beauty in its perfect creation. So this person continued to say, but if the Lord, as He made us, as we're being created, dropped free will in that making, and then we're in the world, and then we choose, like knowing that we can do whatever we want, and we choose to look back and still love and still worship and still do our best to be good, that's true love. If a husband just says, "You're my wife," and she says, "Yes, yes, sir, okay, I'm your wife," and then just loves him and does whatever he says for the rest of their life, is that really a loving relationship, or she's just doing what he said and that's it? But if a man chooses a woman and she chooses him back, then that's true love. They chose each other. Or in the student in the classroom, if all the kids just walk in and do whatever they're told and that's it, nothing else, am I really being of any use, any impact? No, because they already know what to do. They're already perfect students. But if they choose, knowing that where they're coming from, knowing what they've been taught and shown or not taught and shown, and they still choose to do better, to be better, is that not a better show of that goodness of God? A better example of imperfect beings shrouded with different beliefs, different principles, and all sorts of positive and negative influence for our character. Yeah, not our personality, because you can say, "I love God," like I was mentioning the Hope Squad, right? How some kids will, "I love God," but then they do all the things they do. But rather, our inner character, if that still, when all this gets put into your day-to-day life, if your inner being still seeks the Lord, still seeks the good, still seeks to be righteous, still seeks all these good things from God, then is that not why I am? Is that not why I am the way I am? Not because because in my head, I'm choosing to do good. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if what's within you just has a longing to give thanks, has a longing for goodness, has a desire to dive deeper, has a hunger for more of the Spirit, for more of just learning from the Bible, of more of reading, more of being good to people, more, if that's within you, then that, right, those godly beliefs and those godly principles, that can overpower influence. That's what movies, right, the climax scene, think of beliefs and principles were like these two little guys and the influence was this huge guy, but the little guys now got God in the background, right? God, and they're fighting each other. And that's really what would overtake those things. And that's what I see in the classroom. That's what I see in my day-to-day classroom connection. I see all these little beings surrounded by all these things that they don't understand themselves because it's taught at home, not taught at home. It's whatever they've been shown. Some students act a certain way because that's literally what they were shown. Right? We have one little girl who's extremely vulgar, super, like she's super nice and giving and caring, but in the most vulgar way. I don't want to repeat what she says, but if you ask her to do something nice, oh yeah, sure, I'll stay late and help you, F with all that S B B and just all these bad words. And I was ask her, why are you like that? Do your parents speak that way? And then I think this before she would laugh it off, but this past week I asked her again. I'm like, you're saying such nice things to me, but you said so many bad words. Like, why are you so grosera? Do your parents talk like that to you at home? And right away she said, sometimes, yeah, that's how we talk. So there's one student who her beliefs as far as like being kind and helpful, check. Her principles of if someone needs help, like she's the first one to, I'll do it, I'll help them. Someone's getting picked on, leave them alone. Like she'll stand up for kids, she'll defend them, but the influence is all wrong in the sense of like right, the vulgarity of her word choice. And that is where I can, like, when I see that, that's where I can see, you know what? And even in that, there's still right, the picture of God getting the good and pressing it down. Yes, the influence might get dirty, but there's still good inside of that little girl. There is still something that can be influenced positively to either alter her path or even point her right, in a better direction. But all those things, I guess going back to right, the key point here, all those things are still meant to answer or to help with the question, why am I? Why am I like this? If I was formed, if I was made, if there was good placed within me, why do I struggle to do good in my day-to-day, struggle to do good with my students, or struggle to do good with my children? I mean, I catch myself with my own daughters every now and then where I mean to do good, but my inner enforcer just gets upset instantly, and I see in their faces, right, Charlotte, for example, or even Beatty, that face of fear versus like not like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad, but rather he's getting mad, and they get scared, and I instantly like it hits me like back to my beginning of teaching that, oh, Mr. Gamas, your students they're scared of you. Good job. No. Last time I checked, my beliefs in God are not fear God because he's gonna if you act up, you're gonna get squashed. I don't believe that. That if I mess up one day, I'm gonna like disappear, zapped out of the earth. No, my principles don't tell me that make sure you make everyone everywhere you go fear you at all times. That's not what I was raised on. That's not what, at least from what I've read from the Bible, it doesn't say there that you are to be an all-powerful, feared person on earth and wherever you go, like, no. And the influence that I've surrounded myself with whether forced when I was younger, and then kind of like nudged in my middle years, and then now that I'm on my own, right? Which I know we don't talk about it, my father and I, but in reality, I mean, technically, yes. I mean, I could just like, you know what, Dad, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Like, that's within my free will to decide to go somewhere else. But I choose to be here. I want to be here. That's the influence, the principle, and the belief that I was raised on. Let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. And if I said yes, I will be part of this church, then I'm stuck here. I know Chelsea and I have talked about it, and I told her, like, you know, even if the walls start coming down and I would still be here, like, okay, well, until something like tells me to go, I wouldn't go anywhere. I wouldn't change it for anything. But that is a belief that I have based on principles that I was taught from my father, from my mother, and the influence from those around me. Like all of you right now, even though I'm already older than I was when I was younger, I'm still being influenced by others around me. Chelsea's probably the one that could probably say them better. Arturo maybe, but you and I, we're never on this part. I don't think you and I shared those moments where we would hug and like cuddle. I don't think we. but Chelsea knows, like, when she first met me, that was her complaint. Like, you don't hug, you don't love, you're just kind of like, I like you, you're cute. But now now it's the opposite. Now I can't go to sleep if I'm not in a little ball and she's holding me and I'm just. And I'll tell her like, why aren't you holding me? I can't go to sleep. Or like we're laying there and I have to at least with my toes, like just touch any part of her with my toes. Okay. And like I feel like my body like, I'm home now. But before, she can tell you before it was like like when you see Kevin and I trying to be brothers and intimate and like try to hug each other, but then me, Fernie, and Kevin, you see us when we go for a hug, it's always okay, stop, and he's pushing and I'm pushing and he wants to kiss me or I want to kiss him and we're fight. Okay, okay, that's good. Not that we were shown not to be loving. It's not that. Just that's more bro. You get it, right? Brothers. You get it. But but those beliefs, those principles, and that influence. That's what I want to center back to. Oops, sorry, it closed. Back to that verse that started this whole movie in my head. Give and it will be given to you. And now this goes to everyone in here, no teacher, no student, but rather just you as a person. Give and it will be given to you. A good measure, meaning that giant pot of good, whether it's a child, whether it's just think of something that has been given to you. That God he measured for a reason. There's a certain amount that he chose for a reason. And pressed it down, shook it together, and then placed it on your lap. For with the measure you use, with that was given to you, it will be measured back to you. And that, once again, going back to what I put on the board here, that is where I saw all this kind of make its key point. That really, when I got this, Pastor asked us like 3 weeks ago, about today, right? Or because the dates got messed up and then we pushed it back. So like 3-4 weeks ago. So this entire time I've just been like bouncing in my head, like this idea. And I've been trying to apply it. Actually, I would have only applied it 1 week, so I'm glad that dates got mixed up because I had a month now or so to apply this that I'm sharing with you right now. Right? This thought process of like, how can I do better? How can I influence more? Not so much through the, I'm on verse, this and that, like telling people like on this verse, that verse, but rather on the beliefs and the principles. Because that's really what influences, the beliefs and the principles. You can tell someone something, but what they see you do, that's what's going to obviously impact more. And so the character, not easily changed, the personality, easy to manipulate if you want to use that word, is still centered around these three things: beliefs, principles, and influence. Godly beliefs, godly principles, biblical principles, and influence from those around you. So that's the three questions that I want to leave you with today, that I've been, again, just really thinking of all month and just trying to do and be better. Question 1. What do I believe that makes me the way I am? I believe in that I love the Lord and that I'm all about church. And yet, so where are you? I believe that but believing it and then not doing it, it's not a belief. They're just words. That's more of an influence that someone told you to say those things. So question 1, what do I believe in? Like, what do I really believe in? Not that makes my personality, not that makes me say these things in front of others, but rather, what do I believe in that deep inside in my character, who I really am inside, that makes me the way I am? What principles was I taught, was I shown, or do I actually walk with daily? And I'll put the extra word there. What biblical principles do I believe in and follow and actually incorporate in my day-to-day life or share with those around me that they can see that I do these things? That's one of the questions I get asked a lot. Like, why are you like that when it comes to work? Like my work ethic at school or even at home, like in the woodworking. Like, why are you like that? And it's hard to explain because I know it's these three things mixed into one based on what God placed within me and based on what I was shown by my parents and influenced by those around me. So the second question was, what biblical principles do I carry, do I actually walk with that make me the way I am, that show others the way I am? And the last one, which is the one that, again, I've been working on, trying to understand better myself, is the influence part. How am I influencing those around me. Because I'm a math teacher. I have no business talking about work ethic and inspiring students to push beyond their limits. And I should be going over times tables and, well, it's algebra, so finding the value of X. But how do I do, like, why do I somehow, and every year I tell myself, no, be professional. Stick to the topic. Because we have like a certain, like, you have to talk about these things by minute. And I always catch myself, the lesson that says 30 minutes, I finish it in like 5 minutes and then 25 minutes of, you can do it. And like, well, sorry, I'm not that motivating. But rather like, right now, you're struggling to find the value of X. And some of you out there are really struggling. Some of you, I see you, George, like you're doing great. You already found the answer. It took you 30 seconds. You're a genius. But that person next to you, you see how they're struggling, and the kid looks over. You see how they're still on step one, and the kid's there like, and you see how they're getting really frustrated, and they're all teary-eyed, like the kid next to them's trying to figure it out. And you see how they're really frustrated. George, this is your chance to lean over and say, do you need some help? And you'll see the kid like just ask them. You never know what's going to happen unless you ask them first and see how they react. What if you helping them changes their life, and from this day forward, they become good at math because of you, George? Take the chance. Do you need help? And they help each other, and then before you know it, both kids get 100. Math, 30 seconds. The rest was just speaking, influencing them. What I said sounded nice, but it's a principle like that I believe in. Try it first. Help the person next to you, and then you see. And I tell them that because of a belief that I have, centered in what I've learned as I'm going to say I've been here in this church, but as I've learned even on my own, reading the Bible and just having my own thoughts and beliefs, it's something that I believe in, right? Because if, right, the idea of the movie, right, if God's standing behind them both and he put good in both of them and he's waiting there and there's a measure and God's waiting for that kid George, like help him next to you. Like I put within you the helpfulness, but he hasn't used it yet because no one's ever influenced him or spoken to his goodness. Only the sit down, be quiet. I'm speaking, you're not speaking. Voice level 0. Oh, I hate that phrase. Voice level 0. Or the academy, 5 and 1. Little kid, you see him walking in line like little stuff. So all those things, but in that moment, George helped, I don't know, let's call her Leslie. And Leslie for that day got her first 100. And some kids will tell me that. Sir, I got 100 today. And I see them like in tears. I'm like, yeah, you did great. Like my inability to. You did great. I'm proud of you. So you don't understand. It's my first 100 ever in my life. And they're 8th graders. It's my first 100. One kid passed a test once. Like, sir, are you proud of me? Yeah, why? I've never passed tests before, like ever, in a math class. It's my first time. You're doing great. I'm proud of you. Okay. But in those little moments, I'm trying to influence. I'm trying to show them as best I can, not by telling them of all the Bible verses that I know or that I can quote, but rather through influence, model for them, show them the principles and beliefs that I have that come from something else, come from somewhere else, that come from my Creator. And that really is why am I the way I am. I'll say them again, then I'll be done. Because what beliefs do I really actually have that I carry? What principles do I actually really follow and carry and walk with? And what type of influence am I actually trying to be? Showing up to a service and then going back home is not an influence. And though I don't have as much interaction with adults as I used to before, and the few that I do, like I mentioned, right, or also like believers, but I do have a lot of students, younger youths, that I can influence positively and show really what it, as best as I can, show them what it means to just be better, do better, and be there for each other. So with that, I thank you for listening, church, and I'm sorry I went over again. Last time was 7 minutes over. I went 8 minutes over this time. I apologize. I'll get better. I'm no Pastor Kevin, Pastor Mario, but I'm no Arturo. Arturo is top notch. But thank you so much, church. Thank you.